All right, welcome in everyone. We are diving deep, deep today
Deep.
into a poem, a French poem.
Ooh la la.
This one is called Ce n'est plus un mythe.
All right.
Now that translates to, roughly, this is no longer a myth.
Okay.
And even the title has us already asking questions.
Yeah.
What myth are we talking about?
Right.
What does it mean that this myth suddenly is not a myth anymore?
It's real.
It's real. Now, this poem, I have to admit, even doing a little background research, it's a bit of a mystery, right?
Yeah. We don't know a ton about the author. We don't have a lot of historical context.
Right. But what we do have
Yeah.
is a poem absolutely packed with symbolism, wordplay, and this just haunting sense of discovery kind of running through it.
I agree.
I agree. So should we just dive in?
Let's dive in.
All right, let's do it. So the poem, it opens up with the speaker repeating again and again, j'ai trouvé.
Okay.
I have found.
I have found.
Imagine we're putting together like a photograph,
Right.
but it's all fragmented, right? Like each piece we put together
Yeah.
reveals another little detail, like
Yeah.
a curve of a smile or like a twinkle in someone's eye.
Gotcha.
That's what reading this poem feels like.
Oh, wow.
Just every single j'ai trouvé.
Yeah.
It's like another piece of this photo snapping into place.
Right.
But then the question becomes,
Yeah.
well, whose photo are we even putting together here? And the poem, it gives us a hint. It talks about une autre,
Okay.
another woman. Who is she?
Right.
Right? Like, is this a rival? Is this a muse?
A ghost from the past, maybe?
Ooh, like a phantom from the past? I like that.
Yeah.
So far, what we're seeing, right, is we have the speaker. They're finding these pieces.
Yeah.
Like a person, right? A name, a way of laughing, a way of looking, but it's all belonging to someone else.
To someone else, yeah.
Mm.
And I think that's what's so interesting about this poem right from the beginning.
Yeah.
We're dealing with this sort of comparison, right? The sense of longing, maybe. A longing for something lost. I don't know.
There's like this underlying sense of melancholy
Yeah.
to it. And I think you're spot on. It's like this longing for something
Yeah.
that isn't there.
That's just out of reach, yeah.
Yeah. And the poem really leans into this whole thing of myth versus reality.
Yes.
There's this one line where the speaker says, flat out, maintenant ce n'est plus un mythe.
Okay.
So now this is no longer a myth.
It's real.
It's real. Like, it's so powerful because it really points to this transformation, this awakening.
This realization.
Yeah. And what we thought was intangible, what we thought was just a story, suddenly
It's concrete.
it's concrete. Now, this whole thing, it makes me think of, Carl Jung,
Yeah.
psychologist.
Of course.
He talks about the persona, right? This kind of mask we present to the world.
Yeah, the mask we wear, right.
Yeah, and this poem really seems to dig into that.
Yeah, like we create these masks, right? And we borrow from myths, we borrow from stories until those masks feel real. But then, the masks can slip.
Yeah.
And we come face to face with reality.
And then everything we thought we knew.
Shatters.
On top of all of this, we have this incredible wordplay
Oh, yeah, tell me about it.
with the word mite.
Right.
So mite can mean myth, but in French,
Yeah.
can also mean moth,
Okay.
right? And moths, what do?
They're drawn to the light.
They're drawn to the light.
They're going to get birds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, this makes me think, is this a hint about the speaker's pursuit of this other woman?
Yes, could be.
She's searching for these pieces, these remnants of the past,
Right.
but is she going to get burned in the process?
Ooh, good question.
Yeah, and it just adds this whole layer of danger to the poem.
Definitely, yeah. It's like this dangerous attraction.
Yeah, it's like, a moth drawn to a flame.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like this burning question.
Yeah.
Is it always worth uncovering the truth?
Oh.
Even if it means getting hurt?
Even if it means getting hurt, yeah. And then the poem does something really interesting, which is it uses all of these incredible sensory details.
Ooh, yes.
It's not just like ideas,
right.
It's not just abstraction.
It's vivid.
It's vivid.
It's like you're right there with the speaker.
Yeah. The speaker describes smiles, the sense, even like the feeling of another's body. It's almost like you can reach out and touch this other woman.
Exactly. Close your eyes and imagine, right?
Yeah.
The scent of perfume lingering in the air.
Yeah.
The warmth of a touch.
Ah.
Like the ghost of laughter in the air.
Yeah.
It's like the poem uses these sensory details to pull you in.
Yes.
You're not just reading about this other woman, you're almost experiencing her.
Yeah. Through the speaker's senses.
Through the speaker's senses, yeah.
And it's so effective.
It is. It is.
It's so effective.
It's powerful.
Now, this has been quite the deep dive.
I know.
Right? Like, we've been talking about identity. We've been talking about memory.
The power of the past.
The power of the past. What do we take away from all of this?
Well, I think it's a good reminder that we are all shaped by stories.
Okay.
The stories we tell ourselves, the stories we inherit.
From other people?
From other people, yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes those stories, they're myths.
Yeah.
And sometimes they become our reality.
Oh, I like that.
And it's in that confrontation, right?
Yeah.
Between the myth and the reality that we discover who we really are.
Ooh. Wow. So on that note, I have a question for all of our listeners out there. What myths are you holding on to?
Ooh, that's a good one.
What discoveries have you made that, really shifted your understanding of yourself or the world?
I like that.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive.
Yes, thank you.
It's been a pleasure, as always, to unpack this, really beautiful and thought-provoking poem.
It has been a pleasure.
With all of you.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
We'll see you next time.
See you next time.